Today we will present a topic on the electrical reaction of carbon dioxide to hydrocarbons using amine functionalized electrolytes. In this presentation, the basic outline of my presentation is introduction. I will give the same. I think we will give the electrochemical reaction of carbon dioxide. So, what is the significance of that? Okay, we already discussed that. Just I will give you the one slide about what is the electrochemical reaction of carbon dioxide. I will give the literature review. So we have done extensive literature review on the reaction of carbon dioxide, and based on that, we have formulated an objective. So what exactly we have done the experiments on the performance of the electrochemical reaction of carbon dioxide. Then we will see the results and discussions based on the experimental observations. So they will see the summary references in account. So the electrochemical approach, it is in a mimicking process as well as the photosynthesis process. What exactly in the photosynthesis process? Carbon dioxide and water is converted using the solar energy. So in the electrochemical reaction of carbon dioxide also, we will convert the carbon dioxide and water using some renewable energy sources, conversion to the fuel. Basically here as a proton source, we will use the water, and the renewable energy sources as a solar energy, wind and hydrogen energy, and generation of value-added products like methanol, formic acid. Okay, these are mainly depending on the cathodic material, some experimental conditions as well as the electrolyte. So basically, we'll mainly concentrate on the electrolytes. So I will just give the 1 minute. I will walk exactly the principle of electrochemical reaction of carbon dioxide. So we'll send the carbon dioxide the cathode side of the electrochemical reactor, water to the anode side of the electrochemical reactor. So carbon dioxide and water is stable molecules, so we will supply the energy using the renewable energy sources. So water will dissociate, it will give the oxygen, protons and electrons. Protons will pass through from anode to cathode, electrons from the external circuit. So where at the cathode side, carbon dioxide will react with the protons and electrons, will form the products based on the different kind of electrode conditions. So the main competitive reaction is because the protons also eagerly waiting for the electrons to combine and form the hydrogen. So there is a competitive reaction with the fuels as well as the hydrogen. So our main concentration on these electrolytes. So we have developed some amine functionalized electrolytes. Yesterday we have discussed that in the industrially there is a process which they use the liquid electrolytes that carbon dioxide has been solubilized. Then they have done the reduce. Right here we are not using liquid electrolytes. We are using some solid polymer electrolytes where we are incorporating the amine functionalized to the solid polymer electrolytes. Then we are converting the carbon dioxide into the products. So if you see the literature, so if you have the different kind of electrolytes, sodium, potassium, bicarbonates, so some buffer layers, if you see some kind of electrodes, for the different kind of electrodes like tin and some graphene based or gas diffusion electrodes, they got the main products as format with a higher Faraday efficiency. With the copper plates, they got the hydrocarbons, the copper and comes on copper alloys, they got the hydrocarbons mainly. So in the different kind of electrode structure catalytic materials, they're getting the different kind of products. Okay. Here I've listed here the liquid electrolytes. Now if you see here the solid polymer electrolytes like Nafion, which is developed by the DuPont, the different kind of Nafion membranes as well as different kind of anixial membranes. The cathode feed is the electrolyte, and here in some cases there is not only the liquid electrolytes, there is some gaseous phase reduction of carbon dioxide will also occur. Here if you see, I just highlighted the portion here, the carbon dioxide which is we are sending at the cathode side of the electrochemical reactor in the gaseous phase. These are solubilized, means that this is CO2 in the gaseous phase. These are the CO2 that in the aqueous phase. Means dissolved carbon dioxide will be reduced to convert into the fuel. So these are the different electrode structures, and we have the experimental parameters and the main products. If it is the liquid electrolyte, they're getting the main formate. In the gaseous phase reduction, they're getting mainly the hydrocarbons and trace amount of properties of the formic acid. So based on the literature review, we have seen some gaps, and we have seen that the main objective, because there is not much study has been done on the electrolyte systems for the reduction of carbon dioxide into fuel, as well as in the gases phase. So what we have done, our objective is to develop some amine functionalized polymer membranes for the electrochemical reduction of gaseous carbon dioxide into fuel. So to achieve this objective, we have successfully completed few of the objectives here, and we are divided into the synthesis and characterization of the solid polymer electrolyte. Stability is also very important, how much time it will be stabilized, and the pH of the developed membrane, evaluation, the performance we have checked, the analysis of the products, whatever we are getting the products during the electrochemical reduction of carbon dioxide, we have analyzed and quantified. So this is basically our experimental setup. So if you see, this is our monopolar plate. The two we have this is one side, the two graphite plates with the proper flow channels. If you see, we have seen that these are ribs and the channels. Okay, two graphite plates with the proper flow channels and ribs were used as a monopolar plates. Okay, and these are the end plates. If you just have shown here everything in the photograph, these are the end plates. These are the Teflon sheets. Okay, and if you see the channels which are connected to the supply head at one end and at the outlet at the other end, the reactants, if you see here, water we are sending at the anode side of the reactor, carbon dioxide we are sending at the cathode side of the electrochemical reactor. And here, if you see here, the terminals, it is to collect the electrons. So these are gold-plated terminals. The electrons generated at the reaction sites, the electrons generated at the reaction sites are collected by the ribs at the anode, which migrate to the gold-plated terminal attached at the anode monopolar plate. The electrons are transported to the cathode via the external circuit. This is what external circuit, what we are connecting to the some potential stack. The electrons generated at the reaction site, which are collected by the ribs at the anode, then it will be migrated to the gold-plated terminal, which is connected to your this. If you see the crocodile clips here, it is. So these clips are attached to the potential stack. Okay, the electrons that are transported to the cathode via the external circuit, reaching to the cathode. Okay, first received by the gold-plated again here. Okay, and then again to the ribs at the cathode side of the. These are the these are the black. You see here, these are the monopolar plate at one side, at the anode side and the cathode side. Okay, so what exactly we are doing here? In between these two monopolar plates, there is, if you combine here, this is what the membrane electrode assembly. This is what membrane electrode assembly. What exactly? How will you fabricate this membrane electrode assembly? Okay. So this is what a carbon paper. So we have a carbon paper here. This is your cathode catalyst layer. Again, this is yellow. It is solid polymer electrode. Again, this is anode catalyst layer. Again, this is your carbon paper. So at the end, these are the both carbon papers. These two are the catalyst layers. In between, there is the electrolyte. So the polymer which is sandwiched between the two electrode, that is anode and cathode, we have the catalyst layers also. Okay, the electrode is the membrane, which is the polymer electrode, which is sandwiched between the two electrode, that is at the anode and cathode. So here, how we are preparing the catalyst layers are very important. Okay, see the anode catalyst layer is very thin, and it is you can say that it was prepared by making the catalyst layer slurry. You can say that we take the isopropyl alcohol and naphthalene dispersion. Okay, and you can easily can just prepare by mixing with the sonication for 20 minutes, and you can just got the slurry, and we can easily with a loading of, let's say, 0.5 mg per centimeter square, we use the nitrogen gas as a carrier gas, okay, for spraying this catalyst dispersion onto the electrode surface. So we prepare the catalyst ink slurry, okay, and we will spray using the gun. Spray gun is there. We spray using the spray gun with the catalyst layer. With the help of the nitrogen gas as a carrier gas, we just spray it. Suppose it is, we know the solvent we are using as isopropyl alcohol, we'll put it in hot surface, we'll put the carbon paper, okay, and if you, once it is heated, what will happen, the solvent will evaporate and only the catalyst slurry will be there on the carbon paper. Okay. This is what, then we have the electrodes with the catalyst where we, under heat treatment in the air oven, let's say for 12 hours at 100 degrees centigrade, we prepare the anode catalyst layer. That is the platinum supported carbon as a catalyst. Okay. What exactly the cathode? Cathode, we use the copper oxide supported on the copper paper. So how will you develop the cathode? Here, first what we do, this is electrodeposited copper. Electrodeposited copper on the copper paper. So how will you do the electroplating? It's very simple. You just do the electroplating. It was done by dipping a copper rod and as well as a carbon paper into the solution of copper sulfate. So first we prepare some 0.5 molar copper sulfate solution. In that we just dip the copper rod as well as the carbon paper. Okay. It means the copper rod used as anode, the carbon paper used as a cathode. Okay, and just apply the potential of 1 volt between them. So what will happen? The electrode deposition of copper on the carbon paper was carried out. We have done at different intervals also, and we have optimized that, and we have seen that at 5 minutes we got very good. It is almost 2 mg per centimeter square loading has been occurred. Okay, then this if you once you have deposited the deposited copper on the carbon paper, then you just under the heat treatment, if you do for 135 degrees centigrade at 17 hours, we will get the oxide based copper. Okay. Then what we do, once we have prepared the 2 carbon papers on the catalyst layers, okay, now we have to prepare the membrane electrode assembly. Membrane electrode assembly. It means that there is assembly. It means that the membrane is sandwiched between the 2 electrode systems, right? So the assembly, how will you do that? We'll hot press these at 100 degrees centigrade for 3 minutes under, you can say, 54 kg per centimeter square pressure to obtain the electrode assembly. So again, we'll cool it and we'll just remove that. We'll get the membrane electrode assembly. Just I have shown here how will you prepare that, right? So this is what the schematic of the experimental setup. So now we have seen what is the reactor, what we have done, how will you prepare the catalyst layers, how will you prepare the membrane electrode assembly. So this is what the experimental setup. If you see that the carbon dioxide cylinder, we are taken from the carbon dioxide cylinder, like we are taking the carbon dioxide gas, we are taken from the cylinder through the regulator, pressure regulator, and we fed at the cathode side of the electrochemical reactor with a certain flow rate set by the rotameter, and then through the humidifier with a, let's say we have done it a flow rate of 20 ml per minute, okay, and it's set by the rotameter. And water we are sending at the anode side of the electrochemical reactor using the peristatic pump with a flow rate of almost we have done at 1.5 ml per minute. Okay, so we know we have the membrane electrode assembly. We know that the carbon dioxide is a very stable molecule. So we have supplied the energy using the potentiostat. Okay, so here the required energy, which is for the reduction of carbon dioxide, which is supplied with the potentiostat. And we have applied at different potentials. Let's say we have done from 1.8 volts to 3 volts. Even though the thermodynamic electrode potentials are way less, but I already discussed that we require more potentials due to some resistive losses over there, right? So we have done excess energy we have to give to occur the reaction. So we have also done the lower tensions also, but we have at 1.8 volts we are getting, so 1.8 volts to 3 volts we have applied at different potentials. Okay, and then the anode outlet, which is connected to the vent, and the cathode outlet is connected to the gas chromatograph, where the separator is there. Gas products and liquid products were separated, and then we are sending to the gas chromatograph, where we will quantify the products. So here the important point is we are conducted different potentials for 60 minutes. We done the experiment. Okay. So for a short time with a new membrane electrode assembly, if you do for 20 minutes, 5 minutes, so we have done it 1.8 volts. Okay. Again, we have done it 2 volts, 2.5, 2.75, 3 volts. So for each and every voltage, we have developed the different kind of membrane electrode assembly. So why I have done, it should not influence our study. Okay, it should not affect the degradation of the membrane or any catalyst material. So we have done that, and all experiments were conducted at the room temperature. So we have what kind of techniques we have used, the electrochemical techniques. We have used the chronoamperometry. So the chronoamperometry is a technique that consists of keeping the, if you see here, the keeping the potential it is fixed and measuring the current as a function of time. Okay, measuring the current as a function of time. We know that already Q is equal to integral of I dt. right? So I is equal to q by dt. So generally, once we apply the different potentials, we got the current as a response. Okay. So most of the even I've seen that in the most of the study, people doesn't know that how we calculate the charge, because we need to calculate the current efficiency. It means that how much charge we need to supply the system. We need to know that to calculate the efficiency of that. So we by integration of this graph, easily we can calculate the charge versus time. Okay, charge versus time. That is what how many coulombs we can do that. Okay? So after that, the analysis of products we can calculate using the gas chromatography. So in the gas chromatography, especially here, the gas chromatography, the heart of the GC is the columns. Okay, here we say we are sending the sample to the reactors. From the reactor, we take the sample and we inject it here. So we have in our laboratory, we have a series of connection: TCD, thermal conductivity detector, methanizer, and flame ionization detector. So hydrogen and carbon dioxide will be detected by the thermal conductivity detector. And why we are using methanizer? Because the carbon monoxide, the higher percentage only detected by the thermal conductivity detector, but we're getting a very low quantity. So even for the low quantity also, the methanizer, what it will do, the carbon monoxide will be converted to the methane. So we'll get some peaks over there using the methanizer. Then we'll come to the FID. So all the sample in the series connection with these detectors. So we have made the custom-made GC order. Okay. So here we can get the identification of the products by this like methane and methane. So we can liquid phase analysis also will do. Here we the column is for a Q column. Liquid phase sample from the reactor, you just injected over there, you get the methanol. Okay. So how will you calculate the Faraday equation? It's very important that see here, if you see here, this is what how much you're getting from the system, and this is how much you're supplying to the system. Means how much total charge passed during the experiment. How will you calculate this Q? This Q will calculate from this is what how much voltage you're supplying to the system. Based on that, what is the response? How much current is generated depending on what kind of reactions is occurring in the reactor. Based on that, the integration of this curve will get the charge. How much charge we easily calculated by using those experimental. So this is what N is the number of moles of particular product. This N is calculated by the GC. Number of moles of particular product will be calculated by the GC. What is the how much amount of product we are formed during the experiment. F is a Faraday constraint, and Z is the number of electrons involved for a particular reaction. Means that it's very important. Suppose if you use a formic acid or CO, it is only required 2 electrons for a particular product. Okay. Suppose if you use a methane, you're getting means you will get 8 electrons to get methane from the 1 mole of CO. Okay. For at the same time, for ethane, it will require 12 electrons. So here, obviously, if it is CO, if you are putting the methane, the Faraday efficiency is 4 times, because here the electrons involved is higher voltage. And the selectivity, how will you calculate? The selectivity for a particular product is the number of moles to the number of moles of that particular system. What will suppose you got methane, CO, and ethane. So suppose if you want selectivity of methane, so number of moles of that particular product to all the remaining products. So based on the carbon content, only we have done based on the carbon content. So first we will calculate what we have done. We have first we have tested various kind of membranes like naphthalene. We have tested some kind of other commercialized membranes also we have tested. But we got published that paper also. After that, what we have thought is there is some influence of the functional groups on the electrochemical reaction of carbon dioxide. So but then what we have done, we have taken the we want to see that how this polymer matrix or how the functional groups are affecting on the electrochemical reaction of carbon dioxide. Then we have procured some polymer material such a way that the polymer matrix is same. What is this polymer matrix? This is the polystyrene divinyl benzene matrix. Okay, this is same. But if you see the functional group here, what is this? SO3 minus Na plus. What is this? N plus the quaternary ammonium ion with the chloride ion functional group. Here sodium plus is your functional group. It is the chlorine ion is the your exchanging group, the anic group. So we have We want to test only the functional group. Okay, the polymer matrix is same. Just see here, we purchased such a membrane CMI 7000, AMI 7001. These are in sodium ion form and chlorine ion form. We have tested two kind of polymer membranes. The polymer matrix backbone is same, but we have just changed the with the different functional group. We have tested this because we want to see what is the, even the polymer matrix is same, but what is the mean function? Whatever the change we are getting, definitely it should be based on the only the functional groups. Okay, so we have treated this with the sulfuric acid and we got the H plus ions. When we have done with the KOH, the chlorine minus ions will exchange with the hydroxyl ions, will getting the OH minus. Now it is the proton exchange membrane. This is your anion exchange membrane. This is a cationic and this is your anionic membrane. Okay. So we have also done the same images. So to get how the surface and cross section of the membranes. Okay. So why we are doing the same images? Because we need to see whether there is any macrolaminates or any kind of structural things are there. If there is any kind of pores are cracking, any kind of cracking nature is there, any kind of membranes we are preparing that we need to find out by using the cell images. Okay. So then we will see the TJ and XRD of your cationic and anionic SPs. What exactly, why we need to do this TJ and this XRD analysis? So this is very important. Why? Because we need to, suppose we do it at higher temperatures. We are doing it at higher temperatures. It's very important to do the thermogrammetric analysis. So here, these two membranes, if you see here, this is, if you see the solid line, it is AMI, that is your anion exchange membrane. This is cation exchange membrane, which is the dashed line shown here. Okay. Because it is the same polymeric chain, but there is this CMI has a sulfonic group, AMI has a anionic group. Okay, so here if you see the analysis, the presence of these quaternary ammonium groups, which decrease the thermal stability of the membranes. Okay, but still it shows the good stability up to 170 degrees centigrade. Still it shows the thermal stability up to 170 degrees centigrade. Because first, whatever the decrease, it should be the up to 100 degrees due to the water. Okay, but if you see here, suddenly it is decreased due to the decomposition of quaternary ammonium group in your AMI. Okay, here it is in the CMI 7000. It is maybe the last will have the declaration of the polymer backbone for both. It is almost same. Okay, and the XRD we need to know whether it is a semi-crystalline or the FDR. Why we need to do this? To know whether the functional groups which are the quaternary ammonium group, or to see some kind of sulfonate groups are there. It is to identify the functional groups in the membrane. Then we have done the FDR, so it is fine. So we have also conducted the important properties that ionic conductivity, ion exchange capacity, water uptake, swelling, and tensile strength. Okay, these are very important to know this, because the ionic conductivity is very important, because see, if you want to in the electrochemical reactor, suppose the protons are passing through that membrane, or hydroxyl ions are passing through the membrane. How will you know this? You need to find out through using the ionic conductivity experiment. So it's very simple. Ionic conductivity experiment. There is a S-type kind of cell is there. Okay, in the S-type cell. So what exactly they will put the membrane at one side, it is sandwiched between, you can say that it's a flange between the two compartments. Okay, we'll pour the, suppose if it is in the cationic system, we pour the sulfuric acid into that. Okay, so without sulfuric acid, with sulfuric acid, we'll do that. So without membrane, with membrane, we'll see the resistance of that. We'll calculate the resistance. We'll apply 1 volt between them. Okay, resistance of without membrane, resistance with membrane. So we'll calculate and we'll get the ionic conductivity. Resistance with and resistance without membrane. So the difference between those, we will get the ionic conductivity. That is what we'll calculate. Same as 60 millisiemens per centimeter. AMI is 5 millisiemens per centimeter square. But if you see the water uptake, the CMA has a higher water uptake. So if you have the water uptake is higher, the ionic conductivity also will be way higher. Because see the proton which is passing through the membrane, let's say, each H plus atoms will take the water, 20 water molecules along with it. So if it means the ionic conductivity is proportional to the water content of the membrane. It means it shows the hydrophobicity of the maybe the covalent backbone, but extreme hydrophilicity of the sulfonic acid groups would lead to the formation of the nanostructures and channels and hydrated in presence of the water. So the ionic conductivity of CMI was you can say the 12 times higher than the AMI. And one more important point is the ionic size is higher than the hydroxyl ions is higher than the H plus ions. Okay, maybe because of that also it will be will get the low ion conductivity lower. So why we need to do this strength of the membrane? It's very important because when you're sandwiched between the two electrode systems at a higher kind of pressure we are doing, it means that should not have any cracks over there, and we are flange between the end plates over there, right? So it should have some strength of the membranes. So we also characterize the electrode with using the SEM. This is your pure carbon paper. See here, you have the strands over there. This is the pores you are seeing where the gas which is flowing through the porous carbon paper. And the anode which is platinum supported carbon. Anode is platinum supported carbon, which is that's what how we have prepared the catalyst ink here. I just told you how will you prepare the catalyst ink over there. Once we have prepared the catalyst ink, then we have sprayed that using the spraying gun on the catalyst on the carbon paper. Then we have we have done the same and can say that there is a pore it's not black over there, and gas can be processed through this carbon paper. Then it is a cathode, which is copper, F to deposit copper on the carbon paper. Then we have under treatment we get the oxide paste. So here also there is no block over there, and if you see, we have the each and every strand is clearly deposit the copper on the carbon, right? And we have done the XRD to confirm whether it is copper oxide or not. We have done the XRD also. Then we have tested in your experiment. So what exactly it says? Okay, what exactly see how the performance of this electrical reduction of carbon dioxide using the CMI and AMI. See here, if you're applying at 1.8 volt, 2 volt, 2.25, 2.5, 2.75, and 3 volts. See here at 1.8 volts, if you see the CMI this much and AMI as the red color is shown that the current density is higher. Okay, the current density is increasing with increase in the applied voltage for both the CMI and AMI. Right, first of all, it is increasing in nature. Why we are taking the current density milliamperes per centimeter square? Why we are not using the current? Can anyone tell me why you are using the current density instead of current? See, most of the if you see most of the others what they exactly do. See, suppose I have done the electrode area. Suppose here I've shown you the electrode area, right? It is a ribs and two channels are right. It is 3 by 3 centimeters. I'll show you again here. So here it is ribs and channels are there. It is 3 by 3. It is width and length it is 3 by 3. So 9 centimeter square of area of the electrode. Okay. So we have used the 9 centimeter square area. Okay. So I'm getting the current maybe let's say it is 80 milliamperes. Okay. So 80 by 9. So it is now 20 milliamperes per centimeter. I hope you understand, right? Suppose in some US or in other countries, what they will do, they use maybe 25 centimeters, 5 by 5 centimeters, 25 centimeters. Maybe they're getting current more. Okay. They're getting the current as response, they're getting higher current. Okay. But we need to see that what is per centimeter square, how much current. Okay. So current density. So everywhere if you see there is a notation we follow it as a current density. Even if you see in the fields and in eBay, they will report in the power density, current density. Okay. The current density with respect to voltage, the current density increases with increase in applied voltage for both the CMI and AMI membranes. The current densities are higher in the case of AMI for all the voltages, but both the membranes have the same polymer backbone. You know that, right? but we have the different functional group. So these functional groups will play a significant role on the electrode surface, right? So you see, even we are getting a higher potential here, even we are applying a different potential with the increase in voltage, we are getting the higher current density. Even though we are getting the higher current density, it doesn't mean that whatever the current density you are getting, it is not only for the products. It may be for different electrochemical reactions which is occurring on the electrode surface. Okay, it may be hydrogen, it may be some methane or CO. All the electrochemical reactions which are occurring on the surface, it is correspondence to that. Okay, it is not for a particular partial, it is not a partial current density, it is a total current density. Okay, this current density is for all the products which is available, which is we're obtaining at the electrode surface. Okay, here if you see, we have also calculated the amount of product which is formed. So how will you calculate the amount of product which is formed? The product which is forming during the gas chromatography, during the gas chromatography, what after the analysis of the from the experimental gas chromatograph, we will using the detectors, we will say based on the known samples and we inject the first known sample based on the calibration curves, how much amount of product we're getting, that we are calculated. And if you see here, in the different potentials at 1.8, 2.25, 2.5, 2.7.3, here the hydrogen is increasing. Okay, but here if you observe in the AMI, the blue, first we'll discuss about the blue line. So blue line here, it is first it is up to 1.8 to 2 decreasing, then again slightly increasing. Again, if you are increasing the potential, again it is increases up to higher. So why it is kind of thing? See, in the CMI membrane, what is happening? The protons which is it is H plus ions, right? The protons are passing through the membrane. Here it is hydroxyl ions are passing through the membrane, right? So there is a possibility that the protons will always have attack with the combination with the electrons will form hydrogen, isn't it? But when you have the hydroxyl ions, the hydrogen formation will be difficult, somewhat. Okay, the lower potential. But if you see as the voltage is increasing, the reaction kinetics will be higher. Reaction kinetics will be higher and higher, right? So due to that reason, maybe the hydrogen increasing at higher potentials. Here also getting very high. The amount of product we're getting the hydrogen is very higher. But here, if you see the we are getting gaseous product like methane and ethylene, methanol, even though we're getting a very less quantity of products, okay, but it is in the gaseous phase. There is no separation from any kind of liquid electrolytes. Okay. So it produces methanol, okay, methane and ethylene. But if you compare with CM and AMI membranes, see what we are getting only because of functional group. Because in the both kind of membranes we have the same polymer backbone, but we have the different kind of functional group. That is, here it is SO3 minus H plus. Here it is N plus. That is a quaternary ammonium ion. Due to the quaternary ammonium ion, we got a 2.5 volts. We're getting a very high amount of methane, as well as 2 volts are getting ethylene, that is C2 products, as well as methanol also, isn't it? So we're getting at lower potentials, we're getting higher. As we are increasing the potential, reaction kinetics are higher. So H plus is taking electrons and forming the hydrogen more. Okay. The same thing if you see the Faraday efficiency. Now we are discussing about Faraday efficiency. So Faraday efficiency for the connection membrane is, if you see from 1.8 to 2 volts, it is decreasing and then slowly it is increasing over here. But the efficiency, how will you calculate it? Just now I discussed that Faraday efficiency is equal to the how many number of moles of particular products getting to the charge supplying through this to the system. Okay, NFZ by Q. Q is how many coulombs we are supplying to the system. NFZ is the number of moles of particular product. Based on that, we are getting the efficiency. So at lower potential, if you see the hydrogen, once it is decreasing, the products are increasing. Then again, the hydrogen amount is increasing here. The same way here, in the AMI, the efficiency for the hydrogen is decreasing, and as well as it is increasing at higher potentials. Because Why hydrogen is decreasing? Because we're getting the higher amount of methane. Efficiency of methane is increasing. Then again decreasing due to that, the efficiency of the hydrogen is increasing. With the higher reaction kinetics, the kinetics favors to the hydrogen formation. Okay, the maximum kinetic efficiency of the methane, which is formed almost around 30% for the AMI. So why it is what is the reason for this get what is the main reason why is it getting the more amount of methane, why it is like this. So that is very important. So for this we have done some conceptual perception also. We have proposed the concept also. The selectivity also we have calculated. I have already discussed how we have calculated the selectivity also. The concept what exactly we have followed here. See, this is a carbon paper. Okay, this is our cathode catalyst layer. Okay, this is the copper and CO2 minus. Why it is CO2 minus? The carbon dioxide CO2 plus electrons, we're getting the CO2 minus. Okay, so now what is happening here? What is happening here? We have done some pictorial view, conceptual presentation we have proposed over there. Okay, and this paper has been also published. Okay, what is happening here? The quaternary ammonium ion of this AMI membrane just get electrostatically attracted to the negative cathode. This is your negative cathode, right? So the quaternary ammonium ion, that is N plus. So this is attracted to the CO2 minus. Okay, the quaternary ammonium ion which is gets electrostatically attracted to the negative cathode, which assists the electron flow, from the cathode to the CO2 in the electrolysis. But if you see in the sulfonic acid group, what is that? SO3 minus H plus, the sulfonic acid group in the CMI, which is hardly absorbed onto the cathode due to the electrostatic repulsion, right? This is SO3 minus, again it is CO2 minus. So there is the sulfonic acid group of the CMI membrane, which is hardly absorbed on the cathode due to the electrostatic repulsion at the negative cathode, causes the hindrance to the it causes the hindrance to the flow of electrons from the electrode to the CO2, during the electrolysis. So due to this reason, it is finally we can say is that even from the experimental observation, also we can conclude that the function group, especially because the polymer matrix is the polystyrene divalent benzene, the polymer matrix is same. Both the membranes we're getting the same, but we can observe that there is a quaternary ammonium functional group which influences the carbon dioxide to absorb over there, right? Which is electrostatically attracted to the cathode, which is assist the electron flow to the cathode, the CO2 in the electrolysis, it will form CO2 minus N plus R, isn't it? So due to that reason, maybe we are getting the higher efficiency of the product which is formed during the electrochemical reaction of carbon dioxide, right? So we're getting the higher efficiency. So based on this observation, what we have done, so the functional group definitely tune the reaction zone, right? Then we have done another kind of experiments based on the observations what were gained from this experiment. We went to the another kind of experiment. How can we tune the reaction zone in the anionic solid polymer electrode for the electrochemical reaction of carbon dioxide? Let's say what kind of few more kind of polymer electrolytes what we are taking. So this is your polyethylene. This is polyvinyl alcohol, withdrawal and KOH. It's simple. We have what we're taking. This is a polyethylene. This is a branched chain. This is a branched chain. Okay? So if you see, this is a primary, secondary, tertiary amines which is already existed in the polyethylene amine. Okay, then but why we have selected polymer? Directly we can't use the polyethylene amine as a polymer matrix. No, we can't use it polyethylene amine inside because we have tested that it doesn't have the film forming ability. The polyethylene amine doesn't have the film forming ability. Only the polyvinyl alcohol has the film forming ability and it's a very cheaper also. And this is costliest of material also, polyethylene amine. Okay, almost So for 100 ml cost around thousands, right? So, but we need to test whether, because I already tell that amine functioning membranes, it has a good effective for the electrochemical reduction of carbon dioxide to generate the fuels. So we have tested the polyethylene amines, which is added to the, like, blending on with the product polyvinyl alcohol membranes. To strengthen those membranes, we have cross-linked with the glutathione. So polyvinyl alcohol with the glutathione, the polyvinyl alcohol with the glutathione is a cross-linking agent to get the polyethylamine polyvinyl alcohol KOH. Then we got another kind of observation that we have also quaternized, because we have seen that the quaternary ammonium ions will be uh, quaternary ammonium ions will be effective for the reduction of carbon dioxide. Then what we have done, we have taken the polyethylene imines, then we have treated with the bromopropane. We have treated with the bromopropane. Polyethylene imine with the bromopropane will form the quaternized polyethylene imine. So here we have the primary, secondary and tertiary amine chart. Okay. When we have the quaternized, means that we see here the bromopropane feed added. So again at N we have, where is the N, wherever N it is there, added the bromopropane, we have the N plus C3H7, N plus C3H7. It means that is the, like, bulky alkyl groups which is forming as quaternary quaternized form of the polyethylene amines. Okay, now it is hindered, you can say the hindered molecule also. Bulky alkyl groups where it is. But here, if you observe here, we have the bromopropane. Means that there is a bromine at everywhere, right? But we mean hydroxyl and crossing to the membrane, right? So we have treated with the KOH. The same thing, quaternized polyethylene imine. Okay, just take the polyethylene, which is a highly viscous. Then we have to add the bromopropane to at some particular temperature. We get the quaternized form of polyethylene imine. Then we take the polyvinyl alcohol, then butadiene and KOH. We get the quaternized polyethylene imine, the PVA and butadiene and KOH. Okay, so we have now we'll test this polyethylenimine, quaternized, polyethylenimine, quaternized polyethylenimine, right? When we have tested this, what kind of tests we have to do for the membrane characterization? Again, there is a thermogrammetric analysis. XRD, FTAR. Okay, all these things we need to test again. Okay. So how will you synthesize this? Just what I just said, polyethylamine, polyvinyl alcohol. Just made the 10 weight percent of that. Okay, added the butyl heads. Okay, in this we also test the same is that EGA, XRB, FTR to know this whether it is uh, whether it is thermally stable or not. Okay, whether the membrane has any pores or not. Everything can kind of price in calculation techniques. Again, we have some important properties like ionic conductivity, ionic shear capacity. All these properties also again we will do the calculation techniques. So here, in the initial stage, you can say that in the quaternized polyethylene in the initial stage, it up to a temperature of around 210 degrees centigrade, right? It is at 210 degrees centigrade. So in the initial stage of around 210 degrees centigrade, the weight reduction of membranes is due to the evaporation of bound water inside in the membrane. Okay, so you can see that, you can see this is a blue line. It is for the polyethylene. Due to the higher water uptake of the fiber membrane, you can say that this membrane exhibits two sharp weight losses at 210 degrees centigrade, again at 260 degrees centigrade, 260 and 370 degrees centigrade. Okay, and up to again 450 degrees centigrade. Okay, 210 to 260, again 370 to 450. The first weight loss may be due to the splitting of these ionic groups, and the second weight loss may be due to the main chain splitting prior to the final decomposition of the polymer. Again, the first weight loss attributed to the decomposition of isopropyl groups in the quaternized membrane. Here it is due to the isopropyl groups in the quaternized membrane. Okay. First weight loss, which is attributed to the decomposition of isopropyl groups in the quaternized membrane. Second weight loss may be due to the main chain splitting prior to the final decomposition of the polymer. And we know that this is uh, it is intensity work, you can say less due to the quaternized, and the FTR we have done to know that whether quaternization has been happened or not, right? So once we have done the quaternization, means how will you know this whether it is quaternization occurred or not? Okay, this is a PA and this is the quaternized form of that. So here, if you see here and in these graphs, the quaternation of the PA is conformed by the disappearance of the imine linkage. Here it is 1635 is there due to the C double bond and linkage is there. It is disappeared here, okay, and increase the intensity of the CH stretching bond. Okay, and the quaternary ammonia absorption band at 916, and further it confirms that quaternation has been happened. And other important properties also we need to know, this is water uptake and swelling and tensile strength. Okay, why the anic conductivity is very important? The anic conductivity is very important. It indicates the ease in the transportation of the hydroxyl ions from the cathode to the anode to the solid polymer layer. Whereas the annexation capacity, it signifies the replaceable ions, so milli equivalent per gram of the polymer. Okay, the branched the quaternary polyethylene, which is you can say interpenetrated in the cross-linked polyvinyl alcohol chains to form semi-interpenetrating polymer. Okay, the quaternation has a dominant influence on the anic conductivity. If you see here, this is 1 millisiemens per centimeter, but here if you say 10 siemens per centimeter, the anic conductivity, right? So here, why this the quaternation has an influence on the what is the main reason why it is has a higher because due to the loosely held hydroxyl ions in the membrane, which resulted in the high ionic conductivity with the Groth's mechanism in the electric field. Loosely held hydroxyl ions, which resulted in higher ionic conductivity through Groth's mechanism in the electric field. Okay, the ionic exchange capacity of the solid polymer electrolyte, which is quaternized polyethylene, which is affected by the quaternization. Okay, obviously we have the ionic conductivity has been increased and ionic exchange capacity has been increased. Okay, it was found to increase significantly after quaternization. It may be due to the bulky quaternary ammonium ion which is there, which has the higher anionic activation stability due to the longer distance between the cation and anion, this these hydroxyl ions, whatever is there, okay, which will usually held with the quaternary ammonium ion, which is enhancing the ionization capacity. Okay, it means that if we suppose that there is electrostatic attraction between this cation and anion will be weaker, it will result in more nucleophilic nature of this anion. Okay. In case of polyethylene imine polyvinyl alcohol, the solvation effects of the primary and secondary amines. In the polyethylene imine, we have the uh, there is a you can say that due to the solvation effects in the primary amines, secondary amines, tertiary amines, right? So due to the solvation effects, it increases the electron density on amine to the nitrogen in a great extent. In a great extent. If you see here, the water take here, the 98% due to the solvation effects of the amine groups in the polyethylene. Whereas for the quaternization, it has been decreased into 85. Okay, swelling is 32% where it is 25%. Okay, and it is for tensile strength is higher for the quaternized polyethylene. Okay, so how will the effect of applied voltage on the current density? So we here also we see that the current density increases with increase in the applied voltage for both the solid polymer electrolytes. Okay, the higher the current density was observed for the polyethylene as compared to the quaternary polyethylene at any of the voltages, isn't it? Right? So again, I'm just repeating that here. We just see the current density versus voltage. We have done the same thing: 1.8, 2.25, 2.5, 2.75, 3 volts. Okay. Once we have done the quaternization, okay, even though PEA current density is higher, so I'm just saying that here the current density which is which indicates that this is the response from the whatever applying voltage to the electrochemical system, the different electrochemical reactions which are occurring on the electrode surface, whether it may be hydrogen or some kind of hydrocarbons. Okay, all the products, whatever the products which are getting at the electrode surface, it is for all. Okay, the current density we are getting for the all, maybe not only for the useful products, it is maybe for the byproduct hydrogen also. It is a total current density. Here, the effect of applied voltage on product distribution, effect of applied voltage on product distribution, how the amount of product is formed is the micromoles voltage, 1.8 volts, 2 volts, 2.24 volts, 2.5, 2.7, and 3 volts. Okay. The methane forms at 2.75 volts due to low ionic conductivity. You see here, we have the high ionic conductivity for the quaternized polyethylenimine, isn't it? If you see the polyethylenimine, we have the hydrogen which is very higher. As we increasing the potential, we are getting the higher amount of the hydrogen, where the low potential may be lower, again still it is increasing. Because the reaction kinetics will be higher at higher potentials. Okay, so here if you see almost it is reaches to 200, but here it is almost it is up to it is 40 micromoles, then it is reaches to 180 almost, right? But if you keenly observe in the quaternized polyethylenimine, you got the C2 products. First up to 2.25 volts, it is C2 products increasing and then decreasing. So here it is methane, it is increasing again decreasing here at 2.24 volts. It means at the expense of methane, we're getting the ethane. At the expense of methane, we're getting the ethane. Ethane is increasing, then we are suppressing the methane, right? So at the expense of one product, we're getting another product that is ethane at 2.25 volts. Okay, but here if you compare the both polyethylenimine and quaternized, so here it is only primary secondary amine, but here it is a quaternary amine. So it clearly tells you that the generation of hydrogen, what we are getting, it has been reduced as high as up to 50%, right? Up to 50% has been reduced. See the for this what we have done, we have pictorial view to understand it very clearly. We have done the pictorial view how your membrane electrode assembly plays a vital role in the effective electrochemical reaction of carbon dioxide. So this is your anode gas diffusion layer. This is your cathode gas diffusion layer. Okay. This is your anode catalyst layer and cathode catalyst layer. So I already discussed with you how will you prepare the catalyst layers also. This is the anode catalyst thing. How will you prepare cathode catalyst? How will you deposit electrodeposition of this copper? And how we heat treated to get the oxide form of the copper that we have discussed. These were same image of that also. Electrodeposited copper on the carbon. If you see here, the carbon strands. Okay, how it is clearly it is deposited of this copper on the carbon strand. So this is what the pose which say that this is the pot for the carbon dioxide product to transport from the from where we are getting to the electrode surface. Okay, so if you see here, this is a gas diffusion layer. At the anode side means the water has to be done. Okay, water has to become, and it has to be catalyst layer. So the membrane once we are applying the potential between the electrode system, what happens? The water will dissociates. The water will dissociates, and it will get the protons and electrons. Or if you see that, you will get the hydroxyl ions and the electrons. The hydroxyl ions from processed from cathode to anode. If it is protons, we get the anode to cathode. So here we are using anion exchange membrane. From the cathode to anode, the hydroxyl ions will process through. From the anode to cathode, the electrons flow will be there. Okay. So here, if you observe that the products, whatever it is generated, the carbon dioxide will transport to the catalyst layer. How will you transport this? This is what the pores are here. Okay, the carbon dioxide will transport through the pores. Okay, and will react on the copper oxide which is there on the carbon paper, the catalyst layer. Okay, then the reaction will occur. We have proposed a mechanism already. We discussed that the membrane how it is electrostatically attracted to the negative cathode, isn't it? After that, once the reaction is occurred, the electrochemical reaction, what are the products which is there? Again, it has to be diffused back to the this pores, and we have to collect. These are the electrons which is collected at the external circuit, isn't it? And from there, the electron flow what we are getting, right? The products which are getting, and we are getting back. So excuse me, sorry to interrupt you.
Please wait, participant. I think Sarah having problem, so I will come back.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. The carbon dioxide which is processed through the gasification layer. Yeah, I'm audible right now.
Yes, sir, it's audible now.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So in the carbon dioxide we are sending, see, the diffusion characteristics are very important. So once there should not be any mass transfer limitation, right? The diffusion of the carbon dioxide to the catalyst layer, where the reaction occur, the products will form. The product has to be again diffused back. It means that there is a diffusion resistant to the carbon dioxide because product has to come back, right? There should not be any diffusion resistance. For this, we need to look on this also. Okay. Then we had conceptualized the ERC using the polyethylene. So how it would be? Suppose there is the carbon dioxide is there, carbon dioxide is there. How it will be? Uh, the ammonium ion, how it will be reacted? That exactly we want to know it. That's why we have conceptualized this. What happened exactly? Okay. So if you observe that here the CO2 reaching to the interface, the carbon dioxide, which is reaching to the interface, which gets absorbed by the amine group, which gets absorbed by the amine group, and its linear stable structure bends by forming the carbamide. What is happening? It's linear stable structure. What is the carbon dioxide emit? Carbon dioxide reaches to the primary or secondary amines are there. What will happen? It will the linear stable structures bends by forming the carbamate via intermediates, possibly composed of loosely bound encounter complex and deuterides. Possibly composed of loosely bound encounter complex and deuterides. Okay. So moreover, the electrocatalyst which is present at the interface. This is your interface, right? The electro uh, catalyst and electrolyte. First, we are talking about only polyethylene. Okay, the electrocatalyst present at the interface along with the solvated water molecules. Okay, it will form the reaction product and hydroxyl ion. It will form the reaction product and these hydroxyl ion move from cathode to anode. Okay, and transform to water and oxygen gas in the presence of anodic catalyst. Okay, then what will happen due to the formation of carbamide via the some intermediates, which is loosely bound and counter complex and trans. Okay, so it will form RNH4 minus R2NCO minus. Okay, and form NHCO3, NCH3. From there we get the methane. If you see the quaternized, in the case of quaternized, what happens if you see here n plus this is C3H7 propyl alkyl group. Okay, so bulky alkyl groups are there. Here there's no only water molecules are surrounded, so blue, right? So here it is n plus which is surrounded the quaternary ammonia, quaternary ammonium ion is surrounded by the bulky ammonium group, right? Which increases the CO2 absorption capacity by forming an ion pair. Okay, just having a bulky alkyl group, the incoming CO2 does not form a carbamate, but ammonium group increases the CO2 absorption capacity. Okay, this incoming carbon dioxide does not form carbamate, but ammonium group increases the CO2 absorption capacity by forming an AN pair or bicarbonate. If you see here, Nc3H7 3 plus electron, then what will form? Nc3H7 3 dot. Again, it will react to CO2. Now it is, if you see this, this is assists the electrons to the carbon dioxide to get the bend structure. Okay, to get the bend structure. Okay, so here if you observe that the reason of getting the low hydrogen production is also, that is what we're getting the byproduct of the electrical reduction of carbon dioxide, is for the quaternized form of this membrane, quaternized form of the membrane, the formation of C2H6, the formation of C2H, that's what I have given the mechanism also here. If you see here, first CO2 minus COH, CH3, then again if it is H, it is CH4, again CH3, again one more CH3 added C2H6. Means by CC coupling, it can be due to the low water availability of the interface. With the low water availability, it will form a CC coupling and form the C2H6. If it is high water availability, maybe it will get the methane. Okay, so it is interesting to observe that the maximum amount of the formation of methane is shifted to the lower potential. You can see that 2.5 volts we are getting the for the quaternized polyethylene, where it is 2.75 for the polyethylene imine. So it is maybe due to the higher conductivity and co-catalyzation effect of the quaternized polyethylene. That's what I have shown it here. Okay, so the maximum amount of formation of methane, you see the methane static efficiency 8%, but if you see here almost 15, sorry, if almost 10, getting again ethane, we're getting the 15 to 17%, but it is 2.25 volts. It is 2.25 volts, isn't it? So here it may be the difference in the covalent bond formation and pair formation energy differences. Okay, so it can one can agree that the quaternary ammonium ion in the this quaternized form of the membrane, polyethylene, it helps as a mediator or as a co-catalyst in the reduction of carbon dioxide. And it can also suggest that this electrostatically attracted quaternary ammonium ion to the negative cathode assists the electron flow to the from the cathode to the CO2 molecule. Once the CO2 minus is formed, the remaining reaction pathways to produce the electroreduction of carbon from the in the electroreduction of carbon dioxide. That is also agreed by the several authors. Okay, the even still in the literature, if you see the pathway for the formation is not clear. So we have proposed that this kind of pathway may be the C2H6 may be formed by the formation of CC coupling through two molecules of CH3 are absorbed to generate C2H6. That's what. See, if you see here, the hydrogen, how the efficiency is this is higher because due to this we have the maybe see if it is mines, that's why maybe we are getting the efficiency still it is lower. Suppose if you use an Afian or some kind of some sulfonic acid groups, then it will go for 90, 80 to 90% higher percentage, higher voltages. But still it is lower voltage, still it is lower due to the amine groups. Still, if you it is going to lower when you have the quaternized form, the hydrogen can lower because at the expense of this, we are getting the hydrocarbons efficiency, we are getting more and more. Okay, and we have also done with respect to time. Also, we have done okay to understand how the Faraday efficiency with respect to as a function of time because see in the experiment, suppose if I are doing at 25 minutes, let's say. So every 5 minutes of operation, we have collected the sample and we have tested. Every 5 minutes, we have collected the sample and then we have tested using the GC. So at every potential from 2, 2.25, 2.5 to 1, we have just shown you the only 3 volt, 2.25, 2.5, and 2.7. For every potential we have tested, we have taken at 5 minutes, we have taken the sample, okay, and we have tested and we have seen the efficiency of the methane and ethane. Okay, and you can easily see that at this 2.25 volts from 300 to 900 seconds it is almost there again it is suddenly increased at 900 to 1200 seconds between then decreased. So after that also we've seen that there is a degradation and stability conditions, we're not getting that much of efficiency of the hydrocarbons. Okay. Yeah. The selectivity, if you see, the maximum selectivity you are getting the methane for the 80%, and if you see here methane and ethylene, we're getting higher efficiencies, higher selectivities. I already told you how we will calculate the selectivity, select for a particular product to the remaining hydrocarbons. Okay. Then we have also done in the laboratory with this pure PV and this after the hydroxyl formation. Okay. Then um, after that study, the imine groups, okay, we have seen from the literature there is an individual group which is in the catalyst, especially in the catalyst. One of the authors has filed a patent that the imidazole has a good absorption capacity for the CO2. It will give the CO2 to CO2 minus. It will assist the electron flow to the carbon dioxide. Okay, then we are thought that maybe if we do the imidazolium as a functional group, if we incorporate on our membrane, so how it could be, how it could affect on the electrochemical reduction of carbon dioxide. So then we have first what we have done, we have taken the uh, vinyl imidazole, then we have quaternized that bromochlorine, then we have quaternized the vinyl imidazole, we are getting the poly 1,3 dipropyl, so bulky alkyl group 1,3 dipropyl, 1 vinyl imidazole in bromide, and this is the structure of that. We have just taken the photograph of that also. Okay. Then we always assured that the ethylene imine also doesn't have the film forming ability. So we are taking the polyvinyl alcohol, it's a very cheap material as well as it's a very good strength as well as the film forming ability has a point. Then we have blended this with a certain amount of solution for this and this, and we have blended these two and got the membrane as shown here. It is 5 by 5, 25 centimeters per membrane we have prepared. Okay, so simple solution casting technique, by using that we have prepared the membrane for every year. We have also done the same images FTR to know the function of the membranes. We have done the XRD. So we have done some important properties of the membrane again. So we have done different mass ratios. Okay, uh, for the 0.25:1 for the imidazole to the polyvinyl alcohol. So like this, we have increased the imidazole ratio. Okay. Then we calculated the anic conductivity and annexion capacity. So this is what recently we have done the work and we have published this paper also. So in the anic properties, we have seen that for the 0.15:1, we are getting the higher, because the anic conductivity is higher, then it has been decreased. Okay, because if you see again same thing as the PV has the you can say that even the hydrophobic group, but the water the functional group, we have the hydroxyl ions more in the PVA, polyvinyl alcohol. Where if you have the PVA content is going to less, due to that, what is happening? The water molecules, because ionic conductivity is proportional to the water content. If you are increasing that, again the PVA, the loosely held hydroxyl ions are going to be weakened and getting the ionic what is the ionic conductivity has been going to less, because the water uptake is going to decrease here. See here. So it's the same kind of characteristic. If you see ionic conductivity is increasing up to 0.15, then 1:1 it is decreased. The same thing happened here also. Okay. But the tensile strength is decreases due to the PVA has been decreased, right? And the because individual function group has been increased and PVA has been, so the strength of the membrane is by the matrix by the PVA only. Okay, and this is a pure carbon paper. You can see the strands. We have generally used the TGPH 90 carbon paper. So there is a various grades of the paper depending on the thickness, whether it found to 250 microns, 260 microns. This is simply a piece of paper. Okay, but we have the strands over there. This is the pores of that. So in the anode, we have taken the platinum supported carbon as a ink. Okay, the cathode side same as the cuprous oxide carbon paper, and the experimental setup same what we have done. This is what individually functionalized SPA we have taken instead of polyethylene and what we had done previously. Now we have tested the individually functionalized solid polymer electrolytes. The same the experimental setup, the same carbon dioxide is sending at the cathode side. water we are sending at the anode side of the electrochemical reactor. Same we are separated using the gas liquid separator. Then we are sending to the gas chromatograph where we have quantified the products using the gas chromatograph. Same way what we had done previously, here using the potentiostat we supplied the energy at different potentials, same 1.8 to 2.5, 2.75, 3 volts at different potential level. We have tested, and here the different loading, you can say the individual into the PVA. Okay, if you increase the same thing, current density increases with the increase in voltage. The increased reaction rate which is correspond to the combination of different electrochemical reactions at the electrode. Okay. You see the current density which is increasing from the 4.1 to 8.2. Okay, it's especially for the if you see last one it's a 0.75. The reverse triangle if you see the last one. Okay. This is for compared to all other mass ratios, even the ionic conductivity is also very high. If the ionic conductivity is very high, it means that compared to the other kind of mass ratios membranes, definitely we have the higher is a higher current density for this membrane. Okay, but the corresponding to that, if you see the Faraday efficiency, when we are getting a methane, okay, CO and methanol we are getting, but it is in the less. But even here also, getting the hydrogen at 0.75:1, we are getting higher, okay, and methane also are getting higher because obviously the current density are getting higher over there. The amount of product we are getting also higher. So it has been found that methane and carbon monoxide are obtained with higher Faraday efficiency in the hydrogen evolution reaction, which is greatly suppressed for the 0.75:1, okay, compared to the other functionalized materials. And here, what we have done, we have also done also find out the selectivity of the carbon monoxide and methane as a products. Or especially we have calculated for each and every mass ratio. I have shown you here 0.75:1 with respect to the carbon monoxide. So this is a carbon monoxide almost it is equal, okay, and at 2.5 volts we are getting the higher Faraday efficiency of the methane as well as selectivity is also higher at almost it is 28%. We are getting the selectivity of the methane here, and we also calculated based on the yield we are getting from the carbon dioxide. Okay, how CO2, see this CO2 conversion we are done only based on the carbon based products only. Okay, we're not adding the hydrogen here, only on the carbon based products CO and methane. The CO2 conversion percentage almost we are getting at 2.4 to 3.2%. As the time is increasing, due to the stability characteristics of electrode and electrode materials, it is decreasing. But at the same time, for 0.75:1, almost we are getting the higher up to 3.21 at 10 minutes, and then it is slightly decreasing more. So here, where we can say is that we are doing this operation in the gaseous phase. Even if you're doing the liquid operation, maybe you're getting the higher conversion and the efficiency, you're getting the higher gains. But what happens? The separation cost will be more in the case of liquid electrolytes. But in the gaseous phase, directly we'll get the production. Okay, so these are the differences and the acknowledgement that we always greatly thankful to the financial support of the Science and Engineering Research Board and the DST for this project. So thank you.